inside the circle. The changes still, they're alive and well, baby.
I think it's going to take like a month before we get used to what's going on here.
It's freaky. Sponsors, we love it. We love the high-tech equipment. We love the high-tech stuff. But it's just going to take us a while to get used to. You know, you're used to wrestling in a dual meet, and then you got to go into a tournament. It's kind of crazy. It's nothing like that. It's just weird. It's just weird. So let's get into it.
You don't know where to look. You don't know where to write.
Yes. I've got nothing to write. I'm just standing here with no marker. How long's it been since
the lighting's different. It's quieter in here.
You know what we should have did? This is a different studio. Yes, we should have swithed sides. Really confused us.
No way.
No, that would take us over the edge.
No, I could never do that.
All right, here we go. 132, 138, 145, and 152 pounds. Sean, all yours. Take it away.
132, and I was telling Mark before the taping of this, about 15, 16 years ago, I was at Franklin Heights Invitational, which was really a good invitational back there, and I'm standing next to a guy that most of you may or may not know. His name's Bob Dealey. He was Marcus Sean. Before it was Marcus Sean, but he did it a lot better, and he was a lot better at it.
Yes.
Guy went all over the world, watched all kinds of wrestling, Olympics, Pan Am Games. This guy really knew his wrestling. In fact, his son was the first state champion for Bishop Reedy. But anyways, we're standing next to each other watching this tournament, and this kid's wrestling, just beating the heck out of someone and wins the Franklin Heights tournament. And Bob turns to me and says, that kid will finish in the first top 4 spots of the state tournament. And I go, really, Bob? What's his name? And Bob's like, I don't have any idea what his name is. I started laughing. I'm like, no, Bob, really, what's his name? He's like, I don't know what his name is. I said, well, what makes you think he's going to finish in the top 4 in the state? And Bob's like, I just watched this guy pummel somebody. I was like, but he can wrestle nobody. He's like, no, that kid's great. The way he changed levels, the way he did everything, that kid's going to be somebody. So I wrote the name down. Follow that kid. That kid lost 2 matches in his high school career. He lost in the finals as a freshman to a 3-time state champion, and then lost in the state finals again his sophomore year to another 3-time champion before becoming a 2-time state champion himself. His name was Joey Flug from Maple Heights, just an incredible guy, went on to be a national champion for Heidelberg. But I was amazed years after that, being a wrestling fan, that Bob so easily identified greatness. This summer I went to an open mat, and I finally understood what Bob was talking about. I seen this kid wrestle, and I was thinking to myself, this kid is something special, and I'm about going all in. If you have talked to me at all at these tournaments or around, I could not possibly be higher on a kid named Connor Brady from Olentangy Liberty. This kid's got, you could be standing in the dark with a blindfold on and see this kid's got talent. This kid is absolutely amazing. 2-time junior high state champion, has a win over Mackle about 6 weeks ago up in Michigan. This kid is something special, definitely highlight reel. Now we got him and Maddox, both of this weight right now. And this talk about splitting hairs, their matchup, if they indeed do wrestle in the Olentangy Liberty Central Crossing duel, probably is going to be one of the most anticipated matches, I think, in like the last 5 years in Central Ohio. These are 2 absolutely phenomenal boys that in their own right I could both see being 4-time state finalists. So the debate is here, who really is the number 1? And I think we're going to go with Jaden Maddox right now. Coming off that solid 3rd place finish up at Ironman. Last year he got 2nd in the state. I don't know if he was the best kid in the state last year, 113 in the finals, but I think he was the best kid that night. I think that match just totally, the refereeing, just a lot of things went wrong. I really think if they wrestled that match 100 times, Maddox wins 99, and the one time he lost happened to be on that night. It's just a crazy, unfortunate circumstance. Not to take anything away from Hart winning it.
Right.
I just really liked Jaden Maddox in that match, and just a flow of it just totally went against him. But again, this is another time where I really wanted to go co-favorites, but I'm just not going to be that guy. So we're going to put Jaden Maddox on top here with an absolutely, as close as you could possibly numerically be behind him, Connor Brady. Connor Brady wrestled yesterday up at Olentangy Liberty, beat the younger Donathan, technical fault him in maybe 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, really looked great. I expect him, I think he might move up to 38 this week at the Delaware Duels, and then Liberty will head to Brecksville, where he'll meet people like Corey Shy and among others that will be absolutely a great barometer of where he's at and see if he's got all this hype and all this love that I'm giving him and ITC's giving him, if he can legitimize that.
Man, I'm really excited about the Brecksville tournament now.
This weight overall, though, I only have it ranked as the 11th toughest weight in our district, and I know that sounds crazy, but I think the the backdrop after the top two guys is just like elevator shaft to the bottom. I mean, these guys are way behind there. Some guy who could come to the fray here that may be a little bit better than we think just because we haven't seen him could be the state champion in junior high from Marysville, Walker Hurd.
Yeah.
He was up at 38 this weekend. I think he's going to be the 32. I'm not positive. But if he comes down, he could be a solid choice. But again, unlike some rankers, we don't rank you until we actually see you because I think going off a PC is absolutely ridiculous to me. So we're going to put the Maddox number 1, Connor Brady number 2, Walker Hurd a very, very interesting number 3 here. And then at 4, we're going to go with a guy that is a little bit under the radar because of their schedule, Trey Bogatich.
Oh, yes.
Dude, he's had a great match with Cameron Latham.
Yes,
Was
he
it 4-5,
did.
4-6?
3-2, and it was. You know what it was? Here's the thing. It was a great match. It was 3-2 final. I didn't think Latham was stalling personally. It was 6 minutes of solid wrestling.
Yeah.
It was 6, and each guy had a counter for. I'm telling you, it was a fantastic match. Mr. Bogatech, appreciate you letting us see that.
So if you're that close with Cameron Latham, you're probably in the mix at 132. He was a district placer last year. Another kid who puts a lot of time in the off season. So right now we're going to have Trey Bogatich at number 4. And guys to look out for, you could have like Garen from Logan somewhere in the mix down there. And we could also have Corbin from Pickerington North, who really didn't have a bad district last year, won 2 matches at Darby as well in the mix as well. So right now, that is how we have 132 constructed. And obviously as a state picture, these top 2 guys here, Maddox and Brady, they're all in for the finals. I mean, all the marbles are in. They're going for it all. And I would be shocked, and I mean absolutely shocked, if one of them's not in the state finals, if indeed not both of them. So again, but Maddox may go down to 26, but we'll put him at 32 right now because that's where he's at Ironman.
Do you know when the Central Crossing Olentangy Liberty duel is?
They sent the information to me, but I don't have it on hand. But
Man.
I will for the next show because that's who I am.
Boom. Deal. I cannot wait to see that. 138 pounds. Talk to me.
138 pounds. I think this weight is going to change a little bit. For some reason, when I see the participants we have right now, I just don't think this is the picture we're going to have at Darby. But for the sake of argument, because that's basically what happens when you put rankings out there,
True.
We will rank these guys off of who is there right now.
All right.
Right now, at number 1, I'm going to go with James Weimer. 2-time qualifier, placer last year at 5th. Really had a good showing there. That was kind of a tough weight class. Loses to Ladnier in the semifinals, who was this year's Ironman champ. James does a ton of wrestling. This guy's down at Super 32. I mean, he's probably in every competition room there is this side of the Mississippi. That guy does a ton of wrestling. And I don't know if you guys seen Central Crossing this year. Those guys found the weight room.
They did.
Those are some big boys. Whatever you thought those guys looked like last year, those guys are huge this year, man. They've really been getting after it. And I think right now, the way 38 is constructed, he would be my number 1 pick.
All right.
At number 2, we're going with Carson
Karchalava.
Karchalava. Hasn't wrestled yet, but this guy's a former Super 32 champ. He's a Fargo All-American. I mean, that's pretty...
Junior high state?
Junior high, yeah.
Okay.
Former Super 32 junior high state
There it
champ.
is, yep.
I said state champ, but I meant Super 32
That's
champ.
good.
He's a Fargo All-American this past summer. He got 4th, beat a couple national ranked kids. He's a little bummed up right now. We haven't seen him. Hoping to get him back for Brecksville.
Yes.
Everybody just absolutely raves about this kid who watches him wrestle or seen him wrestle. I've only seen him wrestle a couple times on Flow Wrestling. I haven't actually physically seen him wrestling, but I guess this kid's absolutely amazing. And his workout partners of Brady, Grenier, Lawson, Volpe, I don't think can hurt. So
That's a pretty good room.
they're really high on that guy. We'll put him at number 2. Again, maybe we'll see him up at Brecksville. Maybe he'll move up. Maybe he'll move down. But right now, I think his past credentials clearly warrant him to be ranked number 2.
Right. Give me 3.
At number 3, we're going Jake Marsh here. He won at 45 yesterday. Again, they might have just shifted up for weight reasons or alpha reasons, but I'm going to have him at 38 because that's where I thought he would be. Tough out, had some big wins last year, beat the kid who got 2nd in the state at Alliance. I can't think of that kid's name off the top of my head,
Okay.
but another kid who's just a solid kid. Probably just a tough kid. Like, you might not win the match, but he is just a physically tough. I mean, he is just a mean, tough kid who is going to pound you for 6 minutes. Regardless of who wins the match, you're going to get pounded. So he was 45 yesterday, like I mentioned, won. They will be at Brecksville as well. I think they usually go down to the Coaches Classic here in a week. So he'll go from the Coaches Classic up to Brecksville, get an idea maybe what weight he might be at and how much he's progressed since last year. At number 4, we're going Xander Gore, Olentangy Lewis Center. Really the surprise last year at the
He was,
district.
yeah.
Pulling out that win against Lee
Yep.
in the quarterfinals, which put 2 state placers. in the district.
Constellation
Quarters, meaning neither one of them would even be a district
Yes.
placer, was amazing. But I think this kid, that's just how he wrestles. This is one of those kids that just stays cool under pressure, doesn't really feel the emotions or the intensity that other people do going on around him. Comes out this season at 138, wins the Old Angie Lewis Center pretty much handily. Didn't really beat a lot, to be honest with you, but he did it the right way. I don't know if we've ever talked about that. Guys that just do everything the right way, like changing levels, setting out moves. They will be
top 4 in the state.
at North Canton Hoover this weekend with everyone else that seems to be good. I don't know if the team is here with this guy, but I think this is solid weight. And again, I think we might see some movement here from other people. So 38 might just be a snapshot in time of really what might happen in a couple months down at Darby. And not to be outdone himself is Ormstein from Tays Valley.
Yes.
He was a state alternate at 32 last year, and that crazy go-to match with Xander Gore, that if they wrestle that match 2 million times, they're both going to win in a million. That was probably one of the craziest go-to matches I think I've ever seen, where scoring could have went either way on reversals and backfalls and takedowns and stop injury time and blood time. That was just an absolute phenomenal match to watch, unless you're a parent, which had to eat a bottle of Tums. But other than that, that was a crazy match. And right now, I put this as the toughest weight at Darby. This is my number 1 weight. And I know it's crazy because some people like the upper weight a little bit better. But with who we got here, I mean, Super 32 champs, Fargo placers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty
scrappy.
Yeah, scrappy, solid 5 guys. So that's the top weight. And in the state picture, I think all these guys are in it for high placings. I think the champion, I'm calling now, I think the champion at 138 in the state tournament comes out of Columbus. And I know Bucks man is going to tell me somebody else is going to play, but I'm telling you, don't sleep on the Columbus people at 138.
Banner year last year, moving right ahead. Can we go on to 145?
145 we will have as our 3rd toughest weight at Darby.
Back to back.
Back to back. So where are these guys going to move? Can we go up? Can we go down? We're going to run into a bear trap or a cat trap or some trap, a lion trap. So at number 1 right now, we're going, and this is going to be a surprise. I don't think people are going to believe me on this one. Greg Brusco, Delaware Hayes. Really?
Wait a minute. 38 didn't have him, so now 45 is the I can't wait to see who's number 2 then.
I don't
got
what
an
I can't
idea.
wait for is I want to hear your explanation on this.
I'm
That's what I wanna
waiting for
hear.
your explanation.
You tell me what's going on here,
Iron Man
Sean.
4th. I mean,
Iron Man 4th. Who was the district champion at 138 last year?
Greg Brusco.
Greg Brusco. Greg Brusco, the 38-pound champ, goes into Ironman, has a phenomenal tournament, beats state runner-up Rocky Jordan, beats 4th place finisher Adorio from Elyria. I mean, this guy really put great matches together. Went down to Super 32, another guy of many guys we talk about that does a ton of wrestling 12 months a year at all the competition camps. Goes to JOs with Coach Brown and those guys. I'm really high on this guy, extremely high on this guy. And right now, I think he is the guy to beat at 145.
Signed to Wheeling Jesuit.
Signed to Wheeling, hey, great job, signed to Wheeling Jesuit.
Yes.
Good guy. At number 2, I'm going Dominic Demas here.
Yes.
And I think the state rankers will say, how do these guys not have Dominic Demas ranked number 1? He's returning state champ. He is a junior world team member, wrestling in Turkey. I mean, what's going on here? The thing with me on this is, and I thought about, this is another one I thought about. Demas, for as much as I love him, he hasn't won a district tournament yet.
True.
And I'm from Missouri. He has yet to show that a kid who beats him, he can return that.
And beat him, yeah.
I mean,
right.
He takes Sparks in, I think, 15 seconds the first time he wrestled 2 years ago. And then Sparks beats him at district, and then beats him again at the state tournament. Last year, Dominic Demas again beats Brusco at Greater Miami Valley and then loses to him. So again, people from Missouri, you got to show me you can do something before I'm going to give you credit for doing anything. Again, these could totally flip, and I wouldn't surprise me either way, but you know, Demas has to beat these guys who have beat them before I can rank him ahead of him legitimately, even though he is a great Greco-Roman wrestler, and everyone knows obviously what his world showings. But right now, I'm going to put him at number 2. And not to be done outright, not to be outdone in his own right, is Traeger Neer at 145.
Certainly.
I mean, this guy, he's probably one of the toughest guys I've ever seen to take down. I mean, it's harder to score on this guy than a preacher's daughter. You get in on this guy's leg, man, he is all over you. Hips, knees, elbows, forearms, crossface. This guy is just hard to take down. 2-time state qualifier, was really injured last year, could never get any kind of rhythm going whatsoever. He maybe had 12 or 13 matches before the sectional. He did qualify. His sectional, he has a win over state placer Tanner Miller from Lancaster in the district championship for 3rd and 4th. He has a win over state placer Nostein. And then he goes on to, again, I think the kid had just run out of gas because of the way the season unfolded. But I expect really big things out of this guy this year. Won yesterday at Old Angel Liberty and pretty much a walkover, really didn't have much competition. This is a guy that another guy, as we talked about, I'm excited to see this guy once we get up to Brecksville because he looks like he is absolutely going to be a hammer this year.
Great. Wasn't he the one that was down 11-0 in the sectional tournament and just came back and was like, I'm going to keep fighting, I'm going to keep fighting.
Down 11-0 his freshman year in the sectional final, outscores the kid like 22-1 and then pins him. It was crazy. That was probably one of the greatest accomplishments I've ever seen as a freshman in a sectional final.
Right. That's on.
Great. And then number 4, our man from past, one of the all-time ITC favorites. We just absolutely love this guy. I don't know why. His sense of humor, his personality, always root for him. Our man, Ben Tate. Had 3 touchdowns yesterday. Is that what it was? Had 3 touchdowns, 150 yards. Then wins the big out. Then wins the back half.
Yes.
Ben Tate is back wrestling. He's at 145. He won the, like we talked about, Bad Apple Invitational pretty handily. There wasn't a lot there, but to see him back, I think is a good start. And the way Coach Brown has a great success of getting these guys to get better and better every year, and we really like Ben Tate and have him a solid number 4 here. Guys to look out for. Strickland from Delvin Jerome, who is the district placer, is going to come down from 52. He'll be in play at 145. And then people like Maxall, again, who was 1 notch from placing at Darby last year at 145, returns to 145 from Old Tangy, and he will be at the North Canton Hoover as well. You got to go to that. I'm just saying, too many guys are going to be at North Canton Hoover for you not to be at that. He'll be at North Canton Hoover, and then he will be up at the Medina Invitational.
Yes, now I can't even go to Medina. I can only go to the second day of Brecksville. Sean, what weight class is that ranking? 145. Did you say
I ranked it number 3rd as our 3rd deepest weight in the district. And as a state picture, I mean, you guys can hate on me and throw stuff at me and see me. I don't think anybody beats David Grant. I'm really high on that guy. His flexibility.
Carr.
I'm sorry. David Carr. I don't think anyone beats David Carr at the shot. That guy, I mean, he's a Super 32 champ this year. He follows that up with the Ironman champ. I mean, this guy is something special, and I know he just good. Big pedigree.
Yes.
I mean, his brothers were all state champions down in Georgia. This guy's just going to be hard to beat, and I know some of the locals think we can take him. Be careful here. This guy knows what he's doing, so I would put our guys anywhere from 2nd to 5th, but I'm pretty high on Carr in this one.
Well, let's go 152. Let's talk about 152 pounds. What do you got for my top 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Man, we just need to get a hat and start pulling names out of here. With Kyle Lawson obviously moving out of 152, or not obviously, apparently moving out of 152, 152 has become just an absolutely bare weight class. I mean, this is a naked weight class if there ever was one. I have it ranked as the 13th toughest weight in Darby, which read between the lines means it's not one of the tough ones. And I'm going to have an absolute shocking number 1. If there was ever a time where people were going to throw stuff at their screen, all of those foam bricks that people got for Christmas over the years, just waiting to throw it at the right possible time, this is the time. Trust me, the name it comes out, people will be throwing stuff at me probably next time I go to a tournament. Probably going to have to wear a helmet next time I go to a tournament. But at number 1, sit down, Logan Broski, Old Tangy Liberty. I know you guys are I don't think it's a name people are thinking of pulling out.
True.
This guy came in with a lot of hype, really hasn't had a lot of success yet, didn't qualify as a district as a freshman, went 1-2 last year at Darby. I just don't think people think I'm pulling out. I think this guy has finally turned a corner in his junior year. He had a great tournament at UA. This guy's really starting to pick up steam. I think he's ready to deliver on all that promise. They used to go to North Canton Hoover. This year they don't, which is not good, but we will see them at, I believe they go to the Greater Miami Valley Tournament this year. I'm not 100% positive. So we will see that. But right now, Logan Broski's your 152-pound favorite.
Who's my 2?
Number 2, Willie Plazar.
Okay.
Hasn't wrestled yet, was a little banged up the first week, so they held him out just for precautionary reasons. We will see him at
North Canton Hoover!
North Canton Hoover, this guy's got to go. We got to get him, start tweeting him, emailing, whatever you do, got to get him to go. We're going to put him there. He's another guy who has some barn burner matches, loses to Max Wright last year at the district tournament, who's a hammer, loses to a Nostein. So those are both legitimate losses to me. Has done a ton of wrestling. Guy's going to be solid, very athletic guy, and look for him to make a much improvement again from what he did last year.
Right.
So he's our number 2 guy.
Who's my 3?
At number 3, we're going Leap Lee from Central Crossing HS. Whatever this kid does at the sectional tournament, just throw it away. It doesn't matter. This kid, for some reason, if there was ever a guy who just came alive at Darby, it is this guy, man. He just somehow pulls out these wins and put us together. This guy is absolutely probably one of the best people I've seen next to Tyler Bowens. You remember Tyler Bowens from Hilliard Darby?
No. I might have been gone there. I was going for 96 to 2000.
No, he was like 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah, Tyler Bowens. Yeah, chin whip. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yes.
this guy, man.
Hi, my name's Mark
If you would
Demon.
like to be an assistant on ITC, Jonathan, his email address is, man, wow.
I do remember Tyler Bowens.
Okay,
Right.
anyway,
He's got a beard now. He looks crazy.
Just a guy who just comes alive at Darby.
Yes.
I don't care who Leapley is wrestling at Darby, that guy's got a chance.
Real quick, who was the heavyweight for Westerville South back in that time? The 96 to 92.
Leapley was a two-time district placer. He's again a solid guy who just seems to be there every time the money's on the line. So right now we will have Leapley at number 3. At number 4, it really starts to get dicey here. We're going to go with Connor Thomas from Old Danger Liberty. Won yesterday at 152, was a former state alternate like 3 years ago. And maybe got a little bumpy there as he grew, as kids do. Sometimes they grow real big and have to adjust to the weight and strength, really, of the guys that are wrestling now. Looked good yesterday. Didn't really have an overly tough bracket, but looked good doing it. He will be at Brecksville in a couple weeks. Delaware Zoles, maybe he'll wrestle Brusco. Maybe he'll move him around or something will happen there that we'll get a good matchup with Lancaster or someone else. But right now, Connor Thomas. And people to look out for is Klein from Westerville North. I'm not sure if he wrestled yesterday. Did you see his name?
I didn't see his name in there.
But he's a guy that should be around there somewhere as well. But again, I think we might see some 45s or some 60s movement to this weight that seems to be kind of open and just waiting for someone to steal the show there. So
Okay.
that's
That's 32, 38, 45,
52.
and 52.
State picture, I don't know, man. 52 is kind of 52, and I'll tell you what, 52 in this state is so wide open that anything that happens, I would not be surprised. Like, you're gonna have a surprise champion, a guy who's ranked like 28th in one of those 5 rankings that anyone with a PC thinks they're an expert in state rankings is. I don't know, but
Let it go.
anybody
Troy Bowers. Is that the heavyweight?
That
or
is Troy Bowers. Troy Bowers, for you guys who don't know, this is crazy. Got 4th in his sectional, got 4th in his district, and then was a state champion
For Westerville South.
Yes. And this could be 152 this year.
Yes, that's 140.
Basically, the moral of 152 is just get to the next week, and you never know what's going to
Survive
happen.
in advance, boys.
So those
Survive
are
in
the
advance.
next 4 weight classes. We're going to show you here in a minute. Stick around if you want to see them.
Yes, but for now, you are inside the circle.